What's that one product that is completely worth your money? An Instant Pot is even better. Can do everything a crock pot can in a fraction of the time and so much more. Nothing like getting home from work and being able to cook a pot roast about in 1 hour. Seriously, Instant Pots are awesome. It's a hybrid of a pressure cooker and a slow cooker, and it can do anything in between. Especially nice if you don't have the room to store multiple appliances. An Instant Pot can cook frozen chicken in 35 minutes. Frozen chicken. So far all the comments I'm seeing are regarding pooping, eating, and sleeping. It really does just come back to basics, doesn't it? This was drilled into me by the camp director when I worked at a summer camp as a kid. Before anyone can notice how well you teach canoeing, they have to have a good place to eat, a good place to sleep, and a good place to go to the bathroom. Running out of toilet paper was an easy way to squander a lot of goodwill built up elsewhere. My friend asked me for some kitchen recommendations last week, and a chef's knife was on the list, so I told him to get Victorinox. He texts me as soon as he used it and was like, "Is this really what it's like cutting things with a good knife?" He'd been using tiny shit knives all the time, and it rocked his world. Best bang for your buck as far as I've seen. I have one and they're great. I might upgrade in the future, but I want to get down whetstone sharpening first. Socks. Despite the expense and the inconvenience of obtaining them, there is nothing that compares to the feeling of wearing warm dry socks. I worked 50% outside and 50% inside for years in the northeast of the US. Wintertime was always a challenge to keep my feet warm and dry. Too thick of a sock and my feet would sweat while inside then freeze when I would go back outside. When I met my wife, she bought me a pair of $25 smart wool socks and I scoffed at her like she was crazy for spending that much on a single pair of socks. It only took one day of wearing them at work to make me understand that they were worth every penny. After seeing how many people keep shit stored in 10-year-old random cardboard boxes in their garage or laundry room, I'm gonna say storage tubs. They are hardly expensive, uniform in size, stack well, and aren't going to deteriorate if they get a bit wet. Also super handy if you move often. My mom got me a bunch when I started college, and I'm constantly grateful she did. Counting moving in and out of storage, I have moved all my shit 12 times in the past 6 years. Multiply 12 by a ton of cardboard boxes, and I've saved a ton of money and effort. Wow, it's time consuming buying / constructing / collapsing / recycling cardboard boxes. You can vacuum anything with it. Car interior, garage floor, liquid spill, pretty much anything that's on the ground will go into it. Then you just take the top off and pour the contents into trash bag / box or whatever you want. It's a more rugged vacuum than indoor household type. Word of advice, don't clean out fireplace ashes with a wet / dry vacation. It's too fine. They sell fireplace wet dry vacs made of metal with filters though. I learned in my 30s that it is physically possible for socks to be made of sufficient quality that they don't get holes, even after years of wear and washings. Before I always believed it was an inevitable fact of life. All those Hanes and Fruit of the Loom socks are complete garbage. Even when the sole is grey and reinforced. Never again. Buy yourself some darn tough socks. They are pretty pricey, but they are incredibly comfortable and well built. The best part is, when they do eventually get holes, Darn Tough will replace them for free. Totally not a shill here, I just love good socks. I would say quality clothing in general is worth it. I used to buy the cheapest clothing I could get, E.G t-shirts, pants, shoes, underwear, and they predictably wore out quickly, and then I'd be left with shitty, worn down clothing. Now that I'm older, I discovered that paying extra is definitely worth it for your clothing. I've had underwear, shorts, pants that last 4 years and remain in excellent shape, rather than a few pathetic months. Edit. Let me just say that you don't have to spend your life's savings on clothing, as some have pointed out that they have bought cheap clothing that has lasted 4 years. This is entirely possible. There are so many brands and clothing out there that it's entirely possible that that cheap discount store or wherever else has great clothing for cheap. It's just that in my own personal experience, paying a bit more is usually worth it. If you have some place where you can buy cheap and durable clothing that you love, then by all means, keep going with it. A good under-sink home toolkit, if you don't have one already. I can say as a newly married 20-something it was the most useful gift my father-in-law got me. A good and comfortable chair to your desk, especially when you plan to sit there a lot for studying, or if your John requires you to sit. It will spare you a lot of back pain. Edit. John sadly no longer wants me to sit. I exchange him for a job. To add to the cooking theme, I have my dad's cast iron pan from when he was at uni over 30 years ago. Absolutely brilliant thing and totally worth the money. Takes a little getting used to cooking in, but so good. If you can afford a few more dollars, those all-in-one gadgets are great. Crock pot, rice cooker, pressure cooker, steamer, browner, yogurt maker. One machine is all you need. Rechargeable batteries for Xbox controllers. I couldn't even begin to estimate how much I've saved over the years. It is so convenient, and they quickly pay for themselves. The only problem is that, if you cycle them through too many times they can start to go, and your controller can die with no warning, because the controller gets confused on what the actual low battery value is supposed to be. Another good one of these for tech is buying your own modem/router. Your stuff will typically be better than Comcast's, and it pays for itself in like a year. For me it is specialty coffee. A few years ago I took a 2-hour coffee tasting course at a local roaster and got a mail order specialty coffee subscription, which opened my eyes to the world of coffee. I pay about $20 Canadian for 340 grams, which makes 17 cups of coffee at $1.18 per cup. People tell me it's a waste of money, yet get $5.50 Starbucks every day. My far too expensive hair products. Curly hair is not fun. Honestly, this is no joke. I'm a guy with fairly long hair that has spent most of my life using cheap shampoo from the grocery store. That shit wrecked my hair. So finally I just say fuck it. I don't know what I'm doing, and go to Sally Beauty Supply. I straight up tell the girl that I'm clueless and need help. She recommended a shampoo that was $9 for 12 ounces as opposed to my normal $3 for 36 ounces. But within 2 weeks my hair was already much healthier looking. I can't imagine the extra work if my hair was curly. Real pizza and fake pizza are very different. Sometimes I'm craving real pizzeria pizza for $18 a pie, and sometimes I'm craving a $5.99 pie from the Domino's down the street. Same toppings, both delicious, totally different tastes. Edit. I'm from the I/NJ/CT area and I literally walked out of the best pizza place in town with a 2-topping large pie and mozzarella sticks for $32. For those questioning me on an $18 pie, I think you just described pizza when sober vs pizza when drunk. And then you move to a city where the only pizza place is Domino's and you just decide to not eat pizza for a year. And it hurts, because the only thing you've ever truly loved is pizza, and the only thing that's ever truly loved you is pizza. But you know you need your space, because it's just not going to work between the two of you in this city, and you'd rather end things when you can still remember each other fondly instead of descending into a pit of bickering and fighting and dragging your kids through a painful divorce. Whatever you paid for your pet at the Humane Society, I got 2 cats $130. Have had them almost 2 years. Plan to have them for another 15 to 17 years. They make me laugh, and they make me feel warm and loved every day. Professional photographer at your wedding. Food, music and so on are nice, but goddamn it, don't cheap out on the photographer. Those pictures are everything you'll have from your wedding for the rest of your life. If anyone hasn't made the switch yet, get wool socks. They will change your life. I have thick pairs for boots and winter time and thinner pairs for work and warm weather. They aren't itchy, don't get swampy, and are super comfortable. Cotton socks are now reserved for laundry day or random trips out. High quality drill bits. The difference between those cheap no brand ones and German quality drill bits is like the difference between a butter knife and a lightsaber. Found a heavy rotring pencil in my high school biology classroom back in the day. It was a great thing. Used more of each piece of lead than any pencil I had before. Felt great in the hand, and weighed enough to make whatever you were writing feel important. Lost it in the same classroom after the final. Circle of life, or something. Got my wife one of those for her birthday to sketch with. It's amazing. She was like, you spent how much on a pencil? Then she used it and now says it's one of the best gifts she has ever gotten. A 1x64 tabletop belt sander from Harbor Freight for about $60. HF stuff is very hit or miss. Some products are extremely low quality and the store in general is kind of a running joke / laughing stock. But I'll tell ya, being a leather worker and needing to make wooden molds and such with light daily use, the sander runs perfectly fine and saves me untold hours. If it stopped working today, I'd immediately buy another. Worth the money, even if it only lasts 6 months. Good sheets. It sounds cliche, and I'm not really even referring to thread count, but really nice, well-made sheets. I got a $200 set of calking sheets for $25 on Black Friday and I couldn't care less about the thread count, but they are made with an elastic band around the edge of the fitted sheet, with deep pockets and reinforced stitching, and I just know they'll last forever. I love them. Steel soap. It was $1 at Daiso, and if you cook something, or was something, that stinks, use this. Then wash your hands. The residual stench is gone. Great for working with fish and garlic. Bedsheet suspenders for pillow top mattresses. I got so fed up with my sheets, made for pillow tops, coming off the mattress. No problems after getting suspenders. Sheets are nice and tight. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.